In the labyrinthine alleyways of Oakhaven, a city where ambition was currency and secrets were whispered on every breeze, lived a shadowy figure known only as Silas. He wasn't a merchant or a warrior. Silas dealt in influence, his fortune built on the meticulous study of human nature. His greatest talent lay in discerning the thumbscrew, that singular, often hidden, obsession or terror that could render even the most formidable individual helpless. Silas had set his sights on Magistrate Elara, the city's chief arbiter. Elara was a formidable woman, whose pronouncements were as unyielding as the ancient stone of Oakhaven's courthouse. Her reputation for incorruptibility was legendary. She'd rejected every bribe, deflected every threat, and ruled solely by the letter of the law. Silas coveted a rare city charter that Elara controlled, one that would grant him unprecedented sway over Oakhaven's lucrative waterfront. Direct confrontation was futile. He needed to find her weakness. He began his subtle descent into her life. He observed her habits from the shadowed corners of the marketplace, listened to the casual chatter of her clerks, and even discreetly questioned the aged groundskeeper of the quiet, secluded garden she visited. What he learned was that Elara lived a Spartan life, her days consumed by justice, her nights by study. She had no family, no lovers, no obvious vices that could be exploited. Yet, Silas was patient. He knew everyone had a core. One damp, pre-dawn morning, Silas watched as Elara, wrapped in a simple cloak, stole away to the silent grove, a small walled-off section of the old public gardens. Inside, she knelt by a single gnarled ancient oak tree, its bark scarred by lightning. Her hands, usually so firm and decisive, gently brushed the coarse trunk, a fleeting expression of profound sorrow crossing her face. It was a gesture of intimate, almost painful, connection. Silas dug deeper. The grove, he discovered, was all that remained of the Whispering Woods, a vast, ancient forest that once covered the very ground Oakhaven now stood upon. Local lore spoke of the woods holding the city's true spirit, a pristine natural force that the expanding city had ruthlessly consumed. This particular oak was said to be the oldest, a living relic. Elara's family, centuries ago, had been its quiet guardians before the city's relentless growth. Armed with this knowledge, Silas approached Elara not with a plea for the charter, but with a seemingly benign gift, a rare, intricate botanical illustration. It depicted the heartwood blight, a devastating fungal disease known to slowly, imperceptibly rot ancient trees from within. He spoke not of the charter, but of the blight, casually mentioning its insidious spread, how it often targeted the oldest, most venerated trees, turning them to dust from the inside out. He described the subtle signs, the faint discoloration on the bark, the barely visible pores on the leaves. As he spoke, he observed Elara's reactions. Her posture, usually so rigid, subtly softened. Her eyes, which met everyone else with an unwavering gaze, now darted towards the window, as if she could already see the blight taking root. He didn't make a threat. He merely planted a seed of existential dread. Her thumbscrew wasn't a personal flaw or a desire for power. It was the preservation of the ancient, pure essence of Oakhaven, symbolized by that singular, vulnerable oak. The thought of its slow, hidden decay, a decay she couldn't publicly fight or rule against, was a torment she couldn't bear. She feared the invisible corruption of the purest thing she knew more than any political defeat. A few days later, Silas sent a messenger to Elara with another, less subtle, offering a sheaf of forged documents detailing a proposed urban renewal project that would require the removal of the Silent Grove, citing it as an unproductive use of prime city real estate. The documents were crude, easily disprovable, but they weren't meant to be genuine. They were meant to amplify the whispered dread. Elara's response was swift and decisive. She did not contact Silas directly. Instead, a complex series of legal maneuvers, couched in seemingly unrelated zoning ordinances and environmental protections, began to unfold. The urban renewal project was quietly quashed. But subtly interwoven within these same legal declarations was a surprising provision. The city charter Silas desired was suddenly made available for public bid, with specific convoluted clauses that only Silas, with his pre-existing network and resources, could possibly meet. It was a legal labyrinth, crafted by Elara herself, designed to give Silas precisely what he wanted, yet appearing entirely legitimate. Silas secured the charter effortlessly. Elara had given him his prize, not because she was coerced by a direct threat to herself, but because she was utterly consumed by the need to protect the Silent Grove and, by extension, the untarnished spirit it represented. She allowed Silas to gain a foothold in Oakhaven's commerce, a move that would reshape the city for years, all to safeguard a single vulnerable tree from an unseen threat. Silas smiled. The deepest power, he knew, lay not in controlling a person's actions, but in mastering their unspoken fears.